Welcome everyone to the Voice of Terminus show. I've got Lex with me today. Say hello, Lex.
Hello, everybody.
So we just saw Cooper Trooper 787 hang out with the devs VR to play some Pantheon. One thing to note: the reason they do these streams is obviously to get the word out and reach out to different audiences. So that they can, get the full potential to help spread the exposure for this game. But there were some little tidbits in this stream that we didn't have last time. Some nice little bits of information that we'll talk about in a minute. I'm going to go and switch over to stream so we can see it on screen while we chit chat. So, we don't have to go over how great the game looks, nighttime and everything. We did that last time. I don't think much has changed. But
Not really.
in this stream, we had the chance to see the Shaman in action. And it was pointed out in chat multiple times that he forgot to cast his pet.
To be fair, I don't think he's played Pantheon before. Granted, there's not a lot of people out there that can say that they have, so it's easy to overlook things like that.
Exactly. But overall, we did a great job. It was very, very fun to watch. So thanks to Cooper for showing us this game again.
Trying to keep them squirrely tanks alive.
Yeah, definitely. So this isn't going to be a very long stream because obviously there was, they took the same path. But a few things to point out. Well, that there's still, the most important thing is people that are interested in Pantheon or want to, get into it and help test the game with the developers and make it the home for all of us for the next decades to come. They can go to pantheonmmo.com/packs. For a limited time at the moment, they have an offer on the VIP pledge for the 1K pledge package, where you gain pre-alpha access.
Yeah. Now that's PAX, P-A-X.
Yep. Exactly. So you can go there till the 5th. Anybody that's basically, from the time they cut off the access to pre-alpha. Anybody that purchased before that also will gain pre-alpha access as a little bonus. So if you're interested, you want to help the developers, you want to get your hands dirty and help bug test and give them feedback actively on the current state of the game in pre-alpha status.
You're basically paying them so you can break stuff and make their life miserable.
Exactly. So you can go to pantheonmmo.com/packs with an X and purchase one of the VIP pledges till the 1st of May. US time, PST I think it is. So yeah, that's one thing to note. For me, a few things stood out. A few things that Joppa mentioned. He talked about dynamic and static NPCs. Named encounters in Black Rose Keep. So for everybody out there who came in late or is here to see us, these guys are currently in Black Rose Keep, which was formerly known as Black Dagger Keep, which was basically a dungeon of sorts in their zone of Avendir's Pass. I think it was, Lex.
I believe you are correct.
But what they've done now is they've gone and revamped the whole entire design, and they created Black Rose Keep, which is its own zone with its own dungeon inside, and this has a multitude of levels. From level 8 on to level 35 is the range that you're going to experience in this zone, and it's something you're going to come back and visit at later points of time as you gain levels to go further deeper into the keep and try out different bosses and unlock or find certain things. The great thing about this concept is people of multiple ranges, level ranges, are going to be inside this zone, playing around, and you're going to be able to interact with each other, call for help, ask for some tips on certain strategies maybe, and it's going to be fun. Especially, I see the replayability of this being a major factor, and the most important thing is you can help out friends of lower level as well. You can come in here, you're doing your thing at one end with your group, you've got other friends from your guild who are a bit lower doing some of the bits and pieces in here, and they can come to you for advice, call you up, and you can help them out. I think this is going to be the most, I think this is the right strategy that they're taking, having a mix of levels in these zones. Obviously not every zone's gonna be like this, or every dungeon, but I think it's a pretty neat concept. What do you think, Lex?
Sorry, I'm busy here taunting Day.
Taunting Day?
Yeah, I'm just taunting Day in chat, sorry. They had mentioned before that there's going to be a very wide range of levels that are going to be available to these zones. I wouldn't be surprised if we see additions down the road. Mm-hmm. So that, like, right now they say it's going to be like mid-teens to mid-30s. Yeah. There might be an expansion, there might be a patch or something that introduces a new area to it, perhaps a basement or something, or a dungeon, or who knows, right? Limitless. Yep. That extends that further up into 45s or even to 50 or whatever, And I think keeping those kind of options open to themselves by not closing off a lot of these zones is a very, very smart idea.
And, them turning it into a zone kind of wants me to speculate right now. Because we've already talked and speculated on a few shows of ours about, world events happening and stuff like that, where the occupants get switched out. And they get driven away. I can see a zone like Black Rose Keep where something like that happens through a developer patch or through a GM event, where the Black Rose get kicked out, and it now becomes the Ratkin.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's change that makes the world, the virtual world, feel like it's a little more believable. Yeah. It's when you're playing your EverQuest 2, your World of Warcraft or whatever, and you go back to the places where you started a year later, and it's exactly the same. It feels like a cardboard set, and it really tends to pull you out of the game.
Well, that's the thing, finding that balance between, most developers, they're so, they get tunnel vision when it comes to developing their games. They'll make a great base game. They'll go out there, make a brilliant base game. But they don't talk, they don't think about the longevity of it. They don't think about, what's in the future. Because you'll see your character advance time and time again. Your character levels up, he gets new gear, he gets new spells. But the world around him doesn't change. And change is always happening. That means it also impacts the world. So everything that we do as players should have an impact on the world, and that should reflect to us back so that we can see what's going on.
It should, but I would say some things not as much as others.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, you step on a bunny rabbit, it's not going to cause a volcano to erupt.
Well, some theories, will counteract your argument there and say that.
Well, the butterfly, the butterfly effect can, go into my stomach. We'll say, to be polite. But yeah, but then the things like the dynamic spawn points, the large roaming paths to the boss mobs, that a lot of people could see that as, that's just going to be a pain, because now when I have to find this boss and I'm in a zone that I've been to 100 times before, and now I got to look all over the place, and what could have taken me 10 minutes will take me an hour or more now. Yeah. It's like, well, that is true, yes, but the first time you go there, your immersion is going to be increased. Mm-hmm. you know, and because they're going to change, that means you're going to keep very close to that same level. It's not going to degrade as fast through multiple visits to that zone up until a point where you basically have seen everything.
Well, you know, you brought up a good point there. You know, some people might not find that very attractive and find that a nuisance, having to maybe go and find a certain NPC because his disposition has changed and therefore he's now in a different area of this zone. Well, that comes back to the replayability and the challenge that they're trying to bring to this game. And the fact that you can have multiple groups in different level ranges wander through this dungeon. So having people wander about is a great way to get people communicating, and it offers that challenge because no third time going into this keep is going to be the same. Because now this time the NPC might not be there where he's meant to be, or where you thought he was last time, because of his disposition. His disposition has currently changed, and it makes you explore. But that adds to the exploring of it as well. It makes you wander around, and then you might, you know, unlock certain things or find certain things that you never saw before. Right.
It's one of these things where your group is at the entrance of Black Rose Keep. You're getting buffed up. You're, you know, making sure your consumables are ready, choosing your spells or your skills, whatnot. And you're going to look at that, even as this is like the 4th, 5th, or even 10th time going in, that although you kind of know the area, and you generally know what to expect, you really don't know what's going to happen around every corner, which keeps the excitement level high.
Oh, definitely. Definitely does. Keeps it very high. So they talked about, you know, having the different dispositions and the behavior patterns obviously play a major role for certain NPCs. But another thing that they talked about as well, at the current state of the game, between the sitting pose and the combat pose for your mana region is currently the same, but there are plans to change the region accordingly. So in combat it's going to be lesser than it is when you're not in combat and sitting down. And they also talked about the consumables as well.
Yep. And that's something we really haven't heard much about.
Exactly. They've already mentioned that.
Oh, technically we still haven't, but
exactly. They basically mentioned that there are plans for consumables. You know, because Cooper was asking if he could drink some water to mana region, and then Joppa made the remark if he's got any magic water, which is, you know, a legitimate question, because you don't want to necessarily swip in a drink of water and then boom, your mana's back. You still want that little bit of challenge and everything. So they talked about the consumables in a way, and that there will be consumables that are going to have obviously different impacts on you. It's not going to be the way it's done traditionally, where you have to sit down every time and consume stuff, the mana region and everything. So they're thinking of unique ways, smart ways to bring that in, but there'll be a lot more on that at a later date when they're comfortable and ready to talk about all this stuff. So that's something to look forward to, and gives us maybe a chance for a show. Talk about consumables again in detail. Because
I'm very tempted to go into speculation. But I'll leave it at is this, because this is one thing that has always really bugged me, especially about Eastern MMOs. I'm sick and tired of seeing these potion-chugging, poorly designed, lazy designed games. And I say Eastern style because I see it prominently in those Korean-style games. You know, they're just so lazy, they just add potion-chugging. It's like,
yeah.
If I'm going to be drinking like this, I swear to God, it's not going to be a health potion, and I'm going to be on the floor in about 30 minutes.
Yep. It's definitely a show we'll do at some point in time. That's worthwhile. So again, the goal for these streams is to reach out to different streamers and have different communities, different audiences that don't necessarily have the background of EverQuest or Vanguard and so forth, or MMOs in general, and to just basically spread the word and
Yeah.
get it out
Well, I mean,
there.
we got to remember that Pantheon is going to be a very niche game, or niche game, whatever you want to call it. I never English right. It's mainly appealing to us older, I almost said over the hill gamers, but us older gamers from a different era.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that younger players or people who are new to the MMO genre would not enjoy this. They might enjoy it a great deal.
Oh,
going to all these different streamers are basically exposing what they have to offer, and that came out completely wrong, and I'm so glad it did, to entirely different crowds. You have to do this. Because if we'll say that there's 100 people that watched the last stream, I'm sure there was more, but we'll say there was 100. Even if you get 5 new people interested in the game from that, it was worth it.
Definitely, it's it's always going to be worth it, especially when you're crowdfunding your product. And there's no better way to get exposure out there. Twitch, all the streaming platforms out there. It's the way of the future. It's free exposure for them. They don't have to invest any money, just their time, put their game out there, and hang out with these streamers and show it off. So on that note, tomorrow there'll be another stream again where they go into Black Rose Keep with Hive Leader. Yep. Another big streamer. So that's something to look forward to as well.
All I can say about that is I'm taking bets on seeing if they can take down that boss. I'm offering 3-to-1 odds against.
What are you paying in?
3-to-1 against. Those are the odds. Those are the Vegas odds.
Oh, and what are you going to pay with? Are we doing money?
My good looks and charming personality.
Or are we doing paladins, halflings?
I wouldn't pay my worst enemy with a paladin.
And Fox says cleric play tomorrow, so we'll get to see the shaman and the cleric perspective. We've seen the tanks and the rogue and the monk.
Tomorrow's stream will be very interesting too.
Oh, definitely.
Because we've seen that the shaman is a capable healer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even at this low level, they're a capable healer.
Well, that's another thing that VR pointed out at PAX. Joppa did the class interview with Basgrim. He pointed out that basically all healers will be able to heal effectively in a group, just with each will have their own ups and downs, their own uniqueness, and disadvantages, benefits, but they'll all be able to handle their own and be able to cope healing a group by themselves. So that's a good thing to hear. So yeah, and you're smart. You're smirking. Looking for a paladin. I need a good laugh.
I'm just. Everybody out there knows I'm Team Dire Lord basically, and Day is like the epitome of Team, Paladin. I love Day to death, but I have no respect for Paladins.
Yep, so you all get crabs. Well, that's a shaman buff.
Hey, that's fine because my crabs would still be tougher than a Paladin.
Yeah. So
he's a good sport though.
I have to admit, though, I did step out for about 10-15 minutes during the stream. Obviously, it stretched my leg. All of you out there who don't know, I hurt myself today. Trying to keep fit, obviously. I went a bit too far with my soccer practice and pushed myself a bit too much. And kind of hurt my leg, my foot. So, yeah, I had to step out a bit. So, I don't know if there's anything else mentioned that wasn't
not really. There was, we'll just say general chatter.
Yeah.
I mean, I did notice that the monk had a hood on, so they're obviously playing with the head armor models.
Yeah.
It's great. Super happy to see that.
Oh yeah, and they did mention that basically there are, you know, it's in the pipeline for the UI to show off beneficial buffs for other members in the group. So that is something that is definitely in the pipeline and coming.
Yep. It's one item in a very, very long list of things to do.
Yeah, and it's definitely a given that something like that is going to come. You know, in this day and age, you know, it's not a cheat. It's a quality of life feature. It just makes sense to see, have I buffed all my group members, so that you don't always have to go and click through and waste valuable time. While downtime is important to this particular game, for you to, you know, sit down like they're currently doing now. They are, you know, strategizing, talking about that current room where the NPC will walk in for them to engage. Hey mate, what are you doing up? Yep. I'm nearly
the little one's up.
Yep, the little one's up. But it's roughly about his time when he normally wakes up. Go to bed, and I'll come in a minute. 10 minutes, and I'll be there.
You heard it here, folks. If I go to bed, he'll be there in a minute.
So, you know, getting back to my train of thought. While downtime is important to this game, nuisances maybe is a word I'll pick. That don't have to be. I'm fine with them adding in quality of life features. It's very important in today's day and age in MMOs. There's some great quality of life features out there that need to be in a game, even as tough as
you can't ignore
it. Yeah,
it's just like on the group window, how now there's arrows pointing to all your members when they're within a certain radius of you. That's a quality of life, because you don't want to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off when your people are just on the other side of like a rock and you can't find them. You know, so while a lot of people would say that, oh, you know, that's not needed because we did it just fine in EverQuest. It's like, well, you know, that's true, but there is a point where you just want to get with your group and get rolling, and that's what that helps with.
Definitely. So, how many times did they have a go at the NPC?
Too many times.
Too many. So there we have the group walking in. Basically, so you could say, as far as I think, this was a static encounter, basically, where she roams certain paths.
She was roaming around, and because I remember them waiting for her to walk back into the room.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so this boss that they were fighting has point blank AE, crowd control, or stun, if you were. It looks like it was the same as the rogue one.
Yeah.
Has very, very bursty damage. That's a very, very, very bad combination. And I can see that boss, even if they nerf her a little bit, it's still going to be something you want to take very seriously.
Definitely. And that's the fun about it, though, you know, going in there, trying to figure it out, find ways within that room to position yourselves.
Right.
And that's
well, I mean,
that's just
think
the
about
fun of it.
If you were there during the stream, you died 4 times in a row, and we're talking like hands down, you just basically just got beaten like a redheaded stepchild. You will go on your 5th time, you're disheartened because you're like, oh, I'm just going to die anyway, and you manage to actually win. You know, the rush from that is absolutely priceless, and you will probably never forget that moment.
No, I just love the level of detail, though. Away from all the combat, away from all the players currently, the level of detail to the rooms itself, to the environment. I love the pictures on the wall. Like I mentioned last time, those are things that I could see us stealing. And you have, like, you know, guards wander around these halls, and they go into this room and they see, hey, the captain's or the lieutenant commander's office, his painting's been stolen. Pass an alarm. put us on high alert, and every group that you see of players coming into that zone, just, you know, beat them down. See who stole that painting.
I mean, I could see that you steal something, and what it does is pseudo randomly around the entire zone, it adds mobs that are going to be roaming more towards the direction of the room that you're in. Yeah. Because that means that when you do this, everyone in the zone now has a problem to deal with. Because they're technically intruders as well.
And it's a good way to add a time sink to the zone and make it more difficult for people to just run in and get to where they want to go. So it kind of adds a little fun event for everybody in the zone to be wary of and watch out for. And I would definitely love to see something like that down the line, maybe.
Yeah.
So, another thing that we haven't seen yet, and that's been asked quite a lot, was the consent.
Yes.
So, the monk was consented by everybody in the group that he could go and grab their corpses, bring them out of the room that they were in, you know, where they were fighting the lieutenant commander. So, that seems to be a feature that's coming or in the game currently now.
In but not necessarily in its finished state.
Yeah, definitely. So, on that note, Lex, having the monk being able to consent and get the corpses, do you see any other classes have that ability to grab corpses, or do you think it should be something that technically any class should be able to do?
Well, the consent isn't necessarily class specific. You're basically just consenting the player by doing /consent space name to basically interact with your corpse and to modify its position. Classes that I could definitely see this basically being the classes that take advantage of this would be obviously the monk, obviously the rogue, maybe to a lesser extent a ranger, possibly any caster that has an invisibility spell or something of that nature so that they can bypass mobs. I can't really see it for tanks unless the tank happens to be like the last person standing and the way's mostly clear behind you. And just going to be a case of consent be quick, oh my god.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's pretty standard stuff if you are familiar with that request.
Definitely. So, another feature that they used was aggro on, aggro off. And for those people that are in pre-alpha, know this is something that you cannot use. You cannot go into the game and type in /aggro, turn it on and off. That doesn't work. The dev command. It's dev power only, and they were on the test server. So only most probably only works for the devs and on test server. Or you go wild and try that out at some point in time when you're testing the game. So,
just trust me, if that worked. There would be some problems.
There would definitely be some problems.
And I'd
the whole entire zone.
What's this do?
Yep. So, before we finish, like I said, we're not going to be doing a long stream. Anything you want to say before we call it? Thanks.
Well, while this is kind of like a reiteration of the same thing we've seen, I think once or twice now, I still think it's good to see it because even though it hasn't been that long since the last one, it really hasn't even been that long since PAX. We are still seeing new things.
And you know, we're getting told new things as well as they go through.
Right. And if you can't play a game, watching it is the next best thing.
Definitely. And you know, it's about exposure, getting the word out there. Despite being a niche product, obviously, you know, they want to get the most out of their product as well. So reaching out to these streamers is a fantastic strategy and a good way to reach new audiences. Like with Jim Lee, you know, him being a artist for DC Comics,
a very high-profile artist.
It was DC, correct? I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yes, I believe it was DC. I'm not a comic book guy myself, but I believe it was.
Don't want to give out the wrong creds, but you know, Jim Lee being in that direction, doing all that, his audience is going to be completely different. You know, while everybody is human and has hobbies and everything, not everybody plays games, believe it or not. Not everybody sits in front of a PC after work hours and, you know, logs into a game and spends the next 2-3 hours playing a game. Not everybody does that. Especially over here in Europe, it's not that big a thing. Not yet, anyway. I hope it will be at some point.
Not yet, because Pantheon's not released.
Exactly. But yeah, so it's great for them reaching out and seeing all these different streamers get to play the game and see their reaction, and it's really cool to see this. I still thought that Cooper did okay. You know, people kept on beating him down because he didn't have the pet out and everything, but he still did fairly good. You know, he actually went in half an hour beforehand, checked out what his class could do, what spells he had. Even keybinded some of his spells, so he came prepared.
Right. I mean, let's face it. If you use EverQuest as a baseline here, the Shaman pet was marginal DPS at best. It was just something a little extra that the Shaman could toss in on top of the slows and debuffs and buffs and heals. And
I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. Okay, even though we know that a lot of these classes are going to be based off of EverQuest or Vanguard, I'm going to be honest with you. If the Shaman and the Paladin and the Warrior and the Wizard all play the same as the other 20 MMOs before that, then what's the point?
Right. I actually had a discussion about something like that with a buddy of mine. Specifically about Pantheon, because he said that he didn't want to play an EverQuest reskin. I told him no. It's kind of like if you're a programmer, you know, there's a C language, there's a C++ language. They're technically the same, only one's been improved.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing. We're seeing EQ and EQ++.
Exactly.
You know, it's you take what you know works, build on top of it to make something even more grand.
Yeah. And you're welcome, Joppa. Always. You know, we're there when you guys are streaming. It's definitely... I think this is going to be a discussion that's going to be ongoing until more and more is released on the class. People get to see everything. To understand, you know, where these guys are going, in what direction. Right. Even though, you know, you can hint at the Paladin and the Monk and the Shaman, you know, connecting kind towards EverQuest or Vanguard and everything, adding that little bit of difference to it. Because, you know, to be honest with you, why does the Shaman have to have the pet out all the time? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe he could have a different stance or something like that.
Maybe the pet takes away from their power.
Exactly.
To maintain it. I mean, who knows, right?
So, I still thought he did pretty well.
Absolutely. He did a respectable job.
You know, I can't tell what bigger difference the pet's going to make having it out, because I'll have to compare the other streams to see if there's anything noticeable with the Shaman and the pet and everything. But if it's a choice, I would be perfectly fine with it being a choice that you don't have to necessarily have it out, or you have it out in certain situations. And I still thought he handled himself pretty well. He came prepared. Right. He checked out his spells. Yes, he didn't have his pet. Whoopie-doo. He still did great.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of fun. That's
there's
the
more.
main thing.
There's more to a shaman than just the pet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he wasn't healing and he wasn't buffing and he wasn't debuffing and he wasn't slowing, then I'd be like, you best have that pet out and do something useful.
Exactly. But, you know, Joppa again did a fantastic job, and, you know, the entire team at VR, explaining certain situations, answering some questions. That's what we want, you know. We want to hear stuff. And even if it's little hints and little tidbits here and there, that's, you know, what people want to hear. And they did a, you know, brilliant showing again.
Yep.
So,
despite hitting the roadblock that is that boss.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, let's see how long the team from VR go dry by not passing that commander. The challenge for you, VR, you have to pass that commander
without your little dev tricks.
Yeah. No aggro off and corpse run here and teleport there.
I'm tempted to say something like, if they were to down the boss in a completely legit fashion of the proper level and everything, I would play a paladin come release. But I'm not going to. I am not, because you know that they would basically handpick every single person and they do dry runs on the test server until they made sure they had it down. And I am not willing to risk that.
Challenge accepted, everybody.
Nope. I have too much respect for myself to play a paladin.
If you want Leksur to play a paladin when the game comes out, tweet at Pantheon_VoT, and I'll see what we can do. And Dayorg.
Okay, we'll make this official.
Well, actually, what we'll do is...
No, but here's the... Okay,
VR.
If you guys can down that boss, totally legit, I will make a video publicly apologizing to all paladins everywhere. And even admit that I was wrong about paladins.
And that you love paladins.
I'll even say that I love paladins.
And that they're better than Dire Lords.
I wouldn't go that far.
So here we go.
I don't want to lie to these people that much.
Yeah. So VR challenge, do you accept?
If you accept. If you have to accept.
Yep. So yeah. People,
I'll embarrass myself for them, that's fine.
Tweet out that challenge, Pantheon_VoT, and mention Pantheon MMO. Somebody's got that clipped. Add the clip into that tweet and tweet it out there. And let's see if we can get this challenge going.
I thought Joppa was gone.
Oh, here we go. Challenge been accepted.
Okay, it's official. We need to think of a name for it, though. We need to think of a name for this challenge. That way you can just tweet the name.
What are we going to call it?
We're going to call it Rise of the Paladin Challenge.
Yep, Rise of the Paladin Challenge. There you have it, guys. Kelsey should have a question for Rangers soon. Off.
Alright, let's do this.
Alright then, so there you have it, guys. Again, I know I said this at the beginning of the stream and in between. I'll say it again and at the end now. Go to pantheonmmo.com/packs with an X if you want to get into pre-alpha testing and help the developers bug fix the game, test out the zones that they release, etc., and give them, you know, valuable feedback on the content that they're creating, to make this a home for everyone for the, you know, years to come. You can go to that website, Zathris or Lex, whoever's faster. Can you put the link in chat? You You can go there, and basically what they have going until the 1st of May is a chance for you to get into the pre-alpha stage and actually join in the testing. This was previously cut off from the VIP package, the 1K package, and for a limited time they've reopened so you can basically get into pre-alpha and help these guys with the development of the game. Not necessarily at a level where you get to decide everything, but you can give them valuable feedback and help them out with that. So there's that. But everybody else, on a side note, for a complete different competition, PantheonRadio.com have a competition that's ongoing. They are looking for a Bard spoof commercial. A maximum of, I think it was 150 words. If I remember correctly, I'll have to go and look it up. If you go to PantheonMMO.com, PantheonRadio.com, and click on the compo, there we go, let's just put it in there. You can see all the details there. You have to be 16 years or older to enter the competition. You need to follow Pantheon Radio on Twitter and follow Pantheon_VoT on Twitter as well to be able to be validated for the competition. And I'll have to have a look it up. I can't remember quite when it ends. I will go there real quick and let you guys know. Yep, so it's 150 words maximum, and 6th of May. So you have until the 6th of May, 11:59 PM Eastern Time. I should have muted that. Sorry about that, people. Bit of Pantheon Radio coming through there. So
listening by proxy.
Tomorrow, our normal show will not be aired, because obviously VR will be streaming at that time with Hive Leader at 6 PM Eastern. If I'm correct, 6 PM I think it was, right?
Let me double check. Yes, 6 PM Eastern time.
Okay, so we won't be streaming our normal show. That's been pushed back to next week. Well, we'll sit down with Baz, talk a bit about PAX, the PAX experience, what went on, and how the overall...
no matter what he says, what happens in PAX isn't going to stay in PAX.
Exactly. We've got the Gamescom in Germany this year, in August. Hint, hint. So, yeah, we'll be sitting down with him next week. And tomorrow we'll be doing another post stream. So please bear with us if we go and ramble on the same again and give you a little bit of hint here and a hint there. We're trying to just entertain you guys, get the word out, and talk about the stream itself, and grab those little bits of information that were given to us. So that's it from me. Lex, you sure about that competition? No. That challenge?
No, but it's too late now. It's been accepted.
Been accepted, so
I will not back down, even if I lose.
We'll have to see when that challenge happens. I
should have put a deadline on it.
Yeah, you should have. You should have put a deadline on it, dude. So it could happen anytime. They'll find the right streamer, the right people in the group to do it. They need that shifty rogue, that Kilson. I think he's key.
No.
I think he's key.
A paladin, that way I'm safe.
So, Leksur has challenged VR, and he will publicly go out, do a video, and apologise to all paladins out there, and tell you how great you are. That he was so wrong about paladins, and that paladins are going to be his best friend from now on. That's something that he will not miss in any group. He will always have a paladin present. Hint, hint.
I already loathe myself.
So with that, guys, thanks for joining us for this post stream. Cooper did a fantastic job. Again, VR, brilliantly executed. Keep it up. We look forward to seeing more of these streams. It's always fun to watch, and it's great the way you release hints and information on the game itself. They even mentioned something about the shield as well, the Sundance, Sunborn shield or something like that.
I don't remember what it was called.
With the stats on it. And they even talked about a buff that the warrior has, something of life, where his armor, etc. gets boosted for 8 seconds, which is key to downing that encounter. So we'll see you all tomorrow for the next stream with Hive Leader. And yeah, have a great evening.
And a post show.
And a post show, exactly. And the post show. Have a great evening, great weekend if we don't see you, and we will see you all tomorrow post VR stream. So no VoT stream tomorrow, guys, but we'll be there post VR stream. Take care.
Be safe, everybody. Pray for me.